Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over the changes that are going to be happening with February 7th update. So it looks like we got overall damage buffs for Blood Death Knight. This looks fantastic because whenever I was playing Blood DK, my survivability felt great, but my damage compared to like other tanks just did not feel great. It felt good compared to like maybe a Pro Paladin, but it just didn't feel good compared to like a Demon Hunter. And then this is huge, guys. This is huge. This is Frost DK updates. Unleash Frenzy's durations increased by 4 seconds. Cleaving Strikes obliterates now hits 2 additional targets was 1. Guys, this is fucking huge. If you can get 3 people to stack in a solo shuffle, you can now do like probably 500k in a single global if you hit all 3 with an obliterate for 130k. While your chill streak is going, while your frost fever is going, and frost fever got a buff. Glacial advance damage is increased by 20%. I think that's just PvE. Frost strikes damage is increased by 10%. This is awesome for PvP. Now if you're a dual wield build, you're going to get even more from the Shattering Blades talent. This is awesome too for PvE. Frost aid damage increased by 100%. That's pretty good. And frost scythe damage increased by 35%. Overall, this is fantastic buffs for Death Knights because Frost definitely needed it, and so did Blood. Alright, now for Guardian. Armor from Iron Fur increased by 20%. Reinforced Fur now increased armor from Iron Fur by 15% was 8. Wow. And Barkskin's damage reduction by 10% was 5. Those are huge updates for Guardian right there. They're going to be a lot more tanky from that. Ursock's Fury now grants an Absorb Shield based on 50% of damage dealt by Thrash and Maul. Whoa, this is huge, guys. This is huge. You're going to see Guardian Druids doing so well in Battlegrounds now. Reinvigoration's Frenzied Regeneration cooldown reduced by 20 to 40 was 15 to 30. Oh my god. I'm going to be trying out Guardian just to see what this feels like. You're going to be so much more tanky now. Layered Main chance to proc increased by 10 to 20% was 5 to 10. Lunar Beam healing increased by 130%. Honestly don't know what this one is. We're keeping a close eye on the variances in survivability across tank specializations. These changes are intended to alleviate some difficult Guardian Druids. Some difficulties Guardian Druids have been experiencing with certain damage types, as well as targeting some underperforming talents which were not delivering meaningful survivability improvements. That's good. I mean, those buffs are crazy. I definitely got to try out Druid after that. I think we all saw this coming. I think we all knew Resto Druids and Evokers were just doing a little too well. Luckily, this doesn't apply to PvP, this one, but it looks like this one does. So it looks like Resto is pretty much staying the same in PvP, but it looks like Preservation's getting a little bit of a nerf, which is good. You'll notice that probably in solo shuffles now. Damage dealt by Hunter and pet abilities increased by 5%. Oh shit! Oh my god, Hunters were already doing so well in PvP. This is just gonna make them even better. Like whenever I saw a Beastmastery playing with someone, it seemed like they were popping off. All healing increased by 3%. Mistweaver buffs, Vivify healing increased by 5%. This is really good. Mistweavers definitely needed this. With the nerfs to Evoker and the buffs to Mistweaver, they just brought him this much closer to just being top tier. Clouded Focus now increases healing and decreases mana cost by 20% was 15. Peaceful Mending now increases the healing of Enveloping Mist and Renewing Mist by... Whoa! Dang, this is a lot. That's a lot more healing. Spinning Crane Kick damage increased by 15%. That's kind of cool. Ancient Concordance increased the chance of Rising Sun Kick to reset. I don't know how much they're... This is probably good for PvP fist weaving and like 2s and stuff like that. Maybe like lower rated solo shuffles. Lesson of Doubt increases healing and damage by up to 40%, was 35. Overall, really awesome Mistweaver buffs. Let's go down to Protection Paladin. Avenger Shield damage increased by 10%. That is awesome. Blessed Hammer, Hammer of Righteous Crusader Strike damage increased by 30%. That's a nice number, but I know these moves don't hit for too much. Maybe Hammer of Righteous hits for a decent amount because it's AoE. Hammer of Wrath damage increased by 15%. That is sweet, man. So overall protection paladins are getting a nice little buff. Holy Pally, all healing increased by 3%. That's sweet, man. They completely needed this. Healing Surge, healing increased by 10%. Chain healing, healing increased by 10%. Oh, and that's not even for Resto. That's just for all the specs. And then Healing Wave increased by 10%. Healing Rain, healing increased by 10%. Overflowing Shores, healing increased by 10%. This is crazy huge. You're going to see Shamans all over the place now. That's a lot. Pretty much 10% to like everything but their totems and Earth Shield. Let's go down to Warlock. Inquisitor's Gaze, Fel Barrage damage increased by 35%. Inquisitor's Gaze no longer casts Fel Blast. Summon Soul Keeper damage increased by 35%. Inquisitor's Gaze. Destruction Soulfire damage increased by 20%. Incinerate damage increased by 5%. Whew! You're going to see Destruction Warlocks owning now. Wild Imp damage. Oh my god, dude. Demonology was already owning so much. Giving Vile Fiend damage increased by 30%. I'm pretty sure that's a good amount of their damage. And then Wild Imp damage increased by 15%. That's going to be so juicy for those Tyrants. You're going to see Demonology Warlocks doing huge damage now. Developer notes. We feel that both Destruction and Demonology can use some improvements to their overall contribution in single target situations. These adjustments are specifically targeting talents that we feel could be more competitive while also putting additional power into rotational spells. Huge upgrade for Warlocks. Items. Nelthorax. Enemy of the Sky now grants 1% attack speed in PvP was 5%. Demon Hunter. Restless Hunter. Talent damage bonus for the next Blade Dance sweep reduced by 4. Oh, that's pretty big. You're going to see a lot less Demon Hunter one-shots. The regeneration is now 50% effective in PvP combat, was 62%. This is intended to offset Reinvigoration's buff noted above, so maybe this hasn't changed at all. Alright, let's go down to Evoker. Living Flame healing increased by 30% in PvP combat. That's pretty nice. Now they're actually going to cast that to heal a lot more. Burden Embrace healing increased by 20%. Wow. So they nerfed all their healing by 5%, but then these spells are getting huge buffs. Oppression Roar increases the duration of incoming crowd control by 30%, was 20%. This is intended to offset the above noted game-wide 5% healing reduction by targeting abilities that we would like to see more prominent in Preservation Evoker's PvP healing profile. Additionally, Oppressing Roar has not been as valuable a talent as we'd hoped, so we're slightly increasing its effectiveness. That seems awesome. Stormwing, now for Beast Mastery Hunter. Stormwing Harriers, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Camouflage 4-piece, now increase the damage in the next kill command by 10%. Oh, was 20%. Alright, so small nerfs to Beast Mastery. But then they also got buffed up above, so maybe it's a buff overall. Probably more sustained damage. Marksmanship. Oh my god, look at all these buffs, guys. Rapid Fire damage increased by 15%. Aim Shot damage increased by 15%. Chimera Shot damage increased by 30%. I don't think this one, I never really saw anyone use that in arenas, but maybe that's good in Battlegrounds or something. Unerring Vision Critical Strike damage bonus effectiveness reduced by 50%. Oh, okay. With the removal of Double Tap, Marksman Hunter has been lower than we'd like to see. We're increasing several main rotation abilities while decreasing Unerring Vision with the goal of higher sustained damage. Now on to Mistweaver Monk. Healing Sphere PvP talent now triggers the Dispel Backlash effect from Unstable Affliction and Vampiric Touch. Healing increased by 320%. Wow, okay. That's a lot more healing from that. This change has been to have more consistency among dispel effects that are intended to require careful consideration of risk and benefit of dispelling. Additionally, we felt that the healing on Healing Sphere has been too weak. Now onto Priest, we got Shadow, Siphene, PvP talent, healing reduction, no longer stacks with similar effects. Oh my god, I didn't even know it actually stacked with effects. I thought it was just the more dominant one. Siphene's healing reduction effect appeared mechanically similar to many others, but were stacking with each other. Oh my god. That's crazy that was stacking. Thank god they're nerfing that. Maybe Rogue Shadow Priest won't be so crazy anymore. Assassination Rogues, Volt Delvers, Toolkit, 4-piece set bonus, bleed damage bonus reduced by 50%. That's pretty brutal. Developer notes the 4-piece set bonus for Assassination has been more significant in their damage profile than we'd like. Wound Poison, Deathmark version, healing reduction no longer stacks with similar effects. Oh my god, there were so many anti-heals that team had I had no idea about. What the? Developer notes the Wound Poison from Deathmark healing reduction effects appeared mechanically similar to many others, but were stacking. Jesus. Now down to Resto Shaman. Damage dealt to Earthen Wall Totem caused by damage absorbed by pets is reduced by 90%. Dang. Holy smokes. That's probably like a nerf to Unholy DKs. Now our pets don't do anything to the totem. This intent is for the adjustment to make Earthen Wall Totem feel more impactful as a defensive ability. As we noted, it was being destroyed too quickly in scenarios where teammates have pets. Wow, okay. Warlock. Unstable afflictions, backlash damage increased by 35%. Oh my god, that is huge. After our recent changes to normalize unstable afflictions, backlash damage, we're seeing it get dispelled frequently. Our intent is for dispelling unstable affliction to require careful consideration of the risks and benefits, and its damage was not fulfilling that. Oof. Destruction, Chaos Bolt damage increased by 40% in PvP combat was 15%. Wow, Chaos Bolt is going to be huge now. Plus the destruction buffs that they got up above. Resolved an issue that caused Bane of Havoc to deal more damage than intended to targets. Oh, okay. We're addressing a bug with Bane of Havoc. Just to deal full damage instead of the intended 60%. Oh, okay. Fellfisher PvP talent, healing reduction no longer stacks with similar effects. Wow, dude. Healers were having it rough, man. Every single thing was stacking with each other when it came to anti-healing. Alright, now Warrior. Arms Warrior, Executioner, Precision is now 30% effective in PvP combat, was 50%. Oof, that got a decent nerf. Martial Prowess is now 33% effective in PvP. Alright, so that one got a little bit of a smaller nerf. Overpowered damage increased by 20%. That's going to be crazy huge. You're going to see nice overpowered crits now. And slam damage increased by 40%. I know, like, really good arms warriors like Bajira were not going anything to do with slam because it was so weak. I think slam just hits for like 3,000 damage. So, or maybe like 4,000. I don't think this is really that big of a difference. We've seen Moral Strike come to represent too much of Arms Warrior's total damage in PvP. Additionally, it often results in spikier damage than we're comfortable with, so we're moving toward an overall rebalance across several abilities. This is good, so it's probably just overall, like, maybe even more damage for a warrior and just less spike damage, which is kind of what a warrior wants. So overall, we got huge Warlock buffs, we got Resto Shaman buffs, we got Rogue nerfs, we got Shadow Priest nerfs, we got Mistweaver buffs, we got Hunter buffs. This is going to be exciting for Marksman Hunters. They're going to be stoked to see this. Evoker is going to be a little bit more of a casting character now. They're not just going to sit back and never cast. Guardian Druids are getting a decent buff, so they did have to nerf their Frenzied Regen, but it's technically not a nerf. They're just offsetting the buff that it's getting up above. Havoc Demon Hunter, they're getting a nerf. This is so good. These buffs to Demonology and Destruction. I mean, Demonology did have overall, like, maybe not the highest damage compared to other classes, but their burst is just, like, uncontainable. Shaman healing buffs, Paladin healing buffs, we like to see it. protection healing buffs, Mistweaver healing buffs, Hunter damage increasing, plus the marksmanship buffs that they're getting down below. So guys, huge marksman buffs. Preservation getting nerfed, we all saw that coming. Guardian Druid getting some huge buffs. Also, Resto Druid getting a nerf in PvE only, 3%. Huge Frost DK buffs. We're going to be a lot more consistent now with our damage, and our burst is going to be even higher with this one right here, making it so we can cleave up to 3 people with an Obliterate, and Obliterate can hit as high as like 130k right now. Awesome buffs for Blood Death Knight. It's mostly just for PvE, but I guess if you play Blood in PvP, go for it. Alright guys, thanks for watching today's video. Overall, I'm pretty excited for the Death Knight buffs. I also can't wait to try out some of the other buffs like Guardian Druid and see what Shamans are like now in the new meta. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for sticking on by. I also stream live every day over at Jokes TV on Twitch. I hope you guys have a great one. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Peace out, guys.